Right then. Writing the nth term given the sequence. I'm going to start off by giving you an nth term, showing you the sequence that we get from it, just to give you a clue as to how we work this out. Right then. The sequence 7n plus 9, sorry. So the first term is going to be 7 times 1, which is 7, plus 9, which is 16. The second term is going to be 7 times 2, which is 14, plus 9, which is 23. The third term is going to be 7 times 3, which is 21, plus 9, which is going to be equal to 30. The fourth term is going to be 7 times 4, which is 28, plus 9, which is going to be equal to 37. I'm going to stop at the fourth term for now. Alright, a couple of things to notice. Every time I've gone up a term, every time I've gone to the next term, effectively I've added 7. Okay, and that makes complete sense to me because every time I go up a term, for example, the first term is 7 times 1 plus 9. Okay, the second term is 7 times 2 plus 9. So basically the only difference is I've got an extra 7. So if I'm looking at a sequence and the difference is always 7, then that means that the coefficient of n, the number that goes before n, is going to be plus 7 if I'm adding on. If it was going down by 7 every time, it'd be minus 7. How does a plus 9 affect it? Well, if I just had 7n, then my first term would be 7. But it's not 7, it's 16. So basically, it's 9 bigger than it should be. If it was the 7n term, the 7n sequence, it would go 7, 14, 21, so on and so forth. But it's not, it's the 7n plus 9. Every term is 9 bigger than it should be. So if I'm working backwards from this sequence, then I do this. I say, right then, every term here has a difference of plus 7. Every time I add 7. So therefore, it's going to be plus 7n. That's the coefficient of my nth term. Then, plus 7n, well, what is the 7n sequence? It goes 7, 14, 21, 28, so on and so forth. Well, mine doesn't. Mine starts at 16. So what I have to do to get from 7 to 16, I have to add on 9. So my sequence must add on 9. And of course, all of these numbers are going to go up by 9, aren't they? So that's going to become 16, that's going to become 23, that's going to become 30, and that's going to become 37. And then they all correspond with the proper numbers. Okay, if you like, that's the explanation of how it works. We'll do a couple of examples now. Again, pause the video when I start the example if you fancy having a go, or if you're looking at it for the second time. Right, let's do a sequence. Let's do 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Right, immediately, straight away, I'm adding 2 every time. Okay, if I'm adding 2 every time, I'm going to start off with plus 2n. Okay, plus 2n should start with 2, because 2 times 1 is 2. Doesn't it? It starts with 12. So I need an extra 10. I'm just going to check it with another term. Right, I'm going to check it with the last term, the fifth term. Now, I think the fifth term is 20, but what is it with this? It should be 2 times 5, which is 10, plus 10, which is 20. So they correspond. Super. Right, a negative one. Right, negatives will have 10, 7, 4, 1, minus 2. Right, no prizes. Again, pausing this if you want to try it. No prizes. We've got minus 3. Again, we've got minus 3, minus 3, and minus 3. So I'm going to put in, to start off with, my coefficient of n is minus 3n. That's going to go down by 3 every time. Right, minus 3n should start with minus 3 lots of 1, which is minus 3. Right, it should start with minus 3, but it starts with 10. That's a way bigger. In fact, I've got to add 3 just to get to 0. So add 3 to get to 0, then another 10. So I have to add 13 to start my sequence at 10. So if I add 13, that should give me the correct sequence. I'll just double check. Alright, let's choose the third term this time. Right, the third term is 4. What's my third term here? Well, it's going to be minus 3 times 3, then plus 13. Right, minus 3 times 3 is going to be minus 9, plus 13. Right, if you work that out, that equals 4. That was a good one. Right, something a little bit tricky, still in the C grade bracket. Ooh, yeah, go on then. A little bit more time. Right, what if we had 1 over 6, 1 over 10, 1 over 14, 1 over 18. Right, there's 1's all the way across the top, so I know that my nth term has a 1 on the top of it. Right, what's happening with these numbers here? I'm adding 4 each time. So that's going to be a plus 4n on the bottom, plus 4n. Right, plus 4n should start at 4, it doesn't, it starts at 6, so that's a plus 4n, plus 2, and that should give me what I need.